A very good evening to all the members of this town. My name is Krishna and I'm here to give you advice on how you can shape this book to be in your favor. It is very important that we take special interest in this book because if we're careful then we can really improve conditions and slow down. But if not, then we would end up with a really huge amount of loss. And I'm sure that none of you would want to face a loss, right? This boom is a primary sector boom, a natural gas boom, which means that it will have many positive and negative impacts in Slowtown. Also, it will have a huge amount of change in the economy and people's lifestyle. First of all, I would like to talk about a significant adverse effect harm to the environment. According to research, we have found out that this process requires drilling on the Earth's surface, which means that over a period of time, this land would become dry and useless for agriculture. Also, this would cause health problems to the residents living around these areas, and rivers and lakes would get polluted due to improper waste management by the firm set up. Therefore, I think the government should use the environmental protectionist policy, which would include taxing these firms depending on the amount of damage they do to the environment. This would result in many things. Firstly, it would result in the government's image improving in front of the public, which means that they would get more votes in the next election. Also, it would result in a decrease in the prices of natural gas, which would make the consumers happy. However, it would result in a decrease in the investments of PLC, public limited companies, which means there would be less tax and revenue. Another reason why the government should take this action is because from research we have found out that most of the locals working in quickly relay where there is a large industry don't mind 2 hours of drive because they prefer to live in the countryside environment with a fresh air and clean safe living, which means that if we cause severe harm to the environment, they shall be forced to take severe action or be forced to leave. This run-on effect would cause the government to use another policy, since it would not be beneficial for the government to lose investments. Consequently, the government should use the supply-side policy in order to decrease taxes and make it cheaper for firms to set up. This will ensure the levels of investments remain at a stable position. This step is vital since the revenue coming into the government majorly consists of taxes from large firms. Thus, it would not be beneficial if many of these PLC decide to leave. Like always, this also has a run-on effect, which is high employment, so the government's unemployment costs go down. However, the government will face unemployment in other sectors of business, especially the tertiary sector in quickly relay, since the workers will easily find jobs available close by or even start up their own business due to the huge increase in population. I know this because of the employment rates in this country compared to a country like Thailand is really low. Therefore, the government should really work on this point in order to improve the economy. Another point to be given attention is the lack of facilities and small infrastructure in Slowtown. I would strongly suggest the government to spend some money and enlarge facilities in the police force, housing, roads, and most importantly, education. Education is the most important issue in my view because it is the source of more qualified labor. I would recommend you to gain more space for roads, to reduce traffic, and build more houses. The reason I'm saying this is that this boom will attract more people, so this town will need more facilities. This will ensure that you are taking strong control over this boom. However, if we look even further than this, we need to save some money because after every boom comes a bust where we all need to take austerity measures. Therefore, I would advise you to spend money carefully and save some too. A great example of a country that has really moved on due to austerity is Japan. Another point is about loans from banks. In my opinion, the central bank should be requested to decrease the interest for loans for opening a new business. This will encourage the flow of money and more firms to set up. This will then result in no monopoly between small retail stores and competition, which is better for prices for consumers. Thus, the consumers and producers will both be satisfied, and there will be a balance. Important thing I would like to talk about is security and safety. Since many people would be migrating into this town, it would mean more crime and illegal work. Thus, I think the government should strengthen the police force. This would directly result into an increase in people's safety so that the government would not be blamed for any crime or incidents taking place. Also, the locals would not be forced to leave due to other immigrants. Trade union is another important point that plays a major role in this situation. Wherever there are workers and managers, there is a trade union. I think the government should use the supply side policy to increase trade unions so that they can help increase workers' rights since the immigrants won't be paid so much by the natural gas companies. Therefore, workers need these trade unions to help them exercise their rights in the society. The reason I'm saying this is that before the boom, Flowtown was a cozy and relatively small town where people know and trust each other and are satisfied with their wages. However, after the boom, with many new people, there would be more availability of labor, so wages would go down. The run-on effect of this would be more wages, more spending, more revenue, more tax. However, the government should also be careful by giving trade unions too much power since it might result into loss of a company and it would shut down, because it would ultimately mean increase in unemployment. The citizens would also benefit due to the decrease in the natural gas prices and other products made from that. Also, because this is a non-renewable resource, Slotan would also benefit from the exports that other countries will demand a lot. An important issue would be farming. After the increase in natural gas, firms there would be a massive decrease in the farming sector. This would mean a drop in the exports of food products that are vital for the country for competition. An example from another country with this is Thailand, which specializes in producing rice. Therefore, the government should use the protectionist policy by giving subsidies and leasing more land for farmers to continue farming and maintain the levels of profits made from exports. Lastly, I would like to talk about the after effects that will occur due to this boom. Natural resources are finite, which means that they will definitely run out someday. Therefore, as soon as natural resources run out in Slowtown, all the PLC will go away, leaving us with useless land and polluted environment. I would strongly suggest the government to use the protectionist policy, maybe by forming a deal in which they would make use of the land in some way or the other, or make the land reusable by using technology. If they do not, then they would have to pay some tax which could be used for the benefits of this town. A real example of the negative effects of the environment is the oil boom that occurred in Montana and resulted in many firms leaving when their profits were made without caring for the environment. In conclusion, I would say that if you all carefully follow my advice, then I ensure you a controlled and positive situation that will gain you a lot of profit. So now you all have many things to consider, but also have many advantages, like increased employment, more profit, increased money flow, more business set up, and improvement in the economy. Hope you all make the correct decision because the fate of Slowtown now lies in your hands.